Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Notion Nerds podcast. My name is Jonathan. I am a simplicity consultant and I make life just that little bit easier for solo businesses and other business owners. And to my right or left, depending on how this recording goes, is Tim.
Oh, thank you. You look like you were picking your nose again. I am Danny Hatcher. I am a content creator mainly focused on YouTube, but kind of all over on different platforms. And I help different content creators, individuals and teams with their processes so they can actually get stuff done, unlike my co-host over here that hasn't done much with YouTube videos. Just putting that dig in right at the beginning, getting it out the way.
You feel better now?
Yep. I feel better now.
Like.
Someone's going to have to cut that out.
It's actually going to be really funny because Rebecca's just... No, Rebecca, I want that in.
Talking to the VA that had to cut Jonathan's likes out in the last episode because he just kept saying it over and over and over again.
No, I think you'll find it was you. It was you who kept saying like 9 times.
You can't blame me for your mistake.
My mistake.
Yep.
Anyway, on the subject of nothing we've just said, let's move swiftly on to the topic of today's episode. Today's episode is about the fear of missing out and how it relates to Notion in terms of, not using all the features, the powers of formulas, not having a big space. There's a big, I suppose, not a renaissance because Notion is so new, of creators who are creating really complex and detailed spaces. And a lot of new users just come in and go, well, I need to have all these features. And something that both Danny and I believe is, no, you don't. You need to use the features that just work for you. Otherwise, you might as well just use another boxed app because that's beside the point of Notion. It's about finding your own workflows and your own systems and turning those workflows into an actual Notion system.
Yeah. And I think for me, a lot of the questions I get, I am fairly familiar with how formulas work in Notion. And a lot of people ask me, how do I do this? How do I do that? How can I add this formula in? And the way that I see it, perceive it, maybe I'm just like thinking into their brains a bit, but I think that they think that they're missing out for not using formulas. And you're not missing out. The only thing you're missing out on when using formulas is the frustration of making it work. Like, formulas can be really useful, but 9 times out of 10, you can just copy it and paste it in. Sorted, it does what you need.
And also, I think formulas are very much an advanced feature for the nerds and for the people who before you even touch formulas, outside of the ones that I show, which is why I don't show any of the advanced formulas, you've got to have like your whole entire process. I know I said shut up. You've got to have your entire process laid out and ready to go, because that's when the power of formulas come in, because you can literally show when you've got these set of tasks, it can show this set of dates and this set of information and show this and show that and how many tasks you got left and stuff like that.
And breathe.
That's when...
And breathe.
And breathe. Yeah, I was breathing. I'm breathing.
And I think, so when it comes to, for me, when I saw some people's spaces on YouTube, originally when I started, this is going back almost 3 years now, I saw their spaces and I thought, wow, I need all of that stuff. And I wanted to have my space either look similar, look like that, and I was just recreating what they'd done. And sorry?
Similar.
Shut up. And now you've just ruined my train of thought, Jonathan. Yeah. So I wanted to recreate what they had done because I didn't know if I was going to miss out on something. Like, there you go, like relations, like roll-ups. I wanted to have them in there because I thought that they were needed. They weren't needed in the majority of my use cases. I was putting them in there for the sake of putting them in there, just in case I may have needed them.
Yeah.
Further on down the line, when I understood Notion better, I then realized, actually, you know what? I don't need most of this stuff. I know how to make lots and lots of formulas. I have like 3 in my my space, maybe 4.
Okay, let's be real here. You have 3 massive formulas, which are like 8 combined into 1. Don't even try this. Oh, look at me. I only have 3 formulas. No, you have like 8 formulas combined into 1 formula times by 3. So let's just put that out there right now, Danny.
There's still like 3 or 4 formulas. Yes, they're long formulas, but there's not like loads of them.
Yeah,
there's
correct.
And it's the same with relations. Some people look at databases and see tons of relation properties and roll-up properties. Just because you have 20 databases doesn't mean you have to relate them all to one another.
It's like often when I speak to people, the thing I always say, I love Marie's setup. And this is not digging on Marie. I love Marie's setup. I was
going to say, be careful. She might be listening. She'll be the next guest. She'll be moaning and whining at your space.
Yeah, probably. And I love like how detailed Marie's setup is. However, that is her refined process. She has got exactly what she needs and nothing else and nothing more. It is a huge system. And for the vast majority of new users, even if they are in the same or similar business as her, or if they are an entrepreneur like her, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but my system looks nothing like hers. I have a team. My system looks nothing like hers. And that's the thing. You need to make sure that your processes are down first before you actually try to even build a system. Because if you don't have a process, your system will fail.
Mm.
And it won't be Notion's fault. It will be the fact that your systems are not built. If you're not secure in your system, then Notion is a great way of exploring. If you just put something together, just a basic like workflow for a YouTube video or for your clients, and then put that into a project database, you can learn and flex and adapt that as you go, sure. But if you want to get started, all you need is like 4 databases.
Mm-hmm.
And then and just start with those 4 and then look at different ways of putting them together. And I don't care whether you're a VC or what you're doing, you just need 4 databases. You may name them differently, but they are just 4, which is your projects, it's your areas or dashboards, as me and Danny have transitioned to dashboards now.
Yep.
That's what we use it for. That's what we did with our areas. And then we have, our resources or notes is what we kind of called it now. And there's one more, which I can't remember. Tasks.
I was going to say tasks. The biggest and most obvious one that you're going to have.
Yeah, but I forget the big and obvious ones because it's just ingrained into my head that that's what you have. I don't even need to think about it. I press one button in Notion and it creates the whole database for me. So I don't have to remember things.
I think something that I want to sort of like input right now is you don't even need databases. Yes, databases in Notion are extremely powerful, extremely useful, but you don't actually need them because if you have very little to do or very little that you need to remember to do, or maybe it's just a list of stuff, just use a block. You're not missing out on anything by not using a database. You really don't need it. No. The only time you would really need a database is when you're using Notion for lots of different things, i.e. task management, project management, goal management, knowledge management, business management. Yeah, all those things.
When you want it to become your all-in-one system, when you're ready for it to become the all-in-one workspace, that's when it's time to go to databases. But otherwise, just play around with 2-3 pages of things that you'd like to take notes on, or it's very quick and very simple to get started in Notion. And everyone gets panicky about missing out on all the things.
So I'm curious, John, in Notion for you, right?
Yes.
What do you wish you had in Notion that you don't, like in your space? Is there something that you wish you had in your space right now? Or maybe prior? Like maybe when you were, I don't know, a couple of years ago or a couple of months ago, you're thinking, I like that. I think I need that in my space. He's thinking, everyone.
I am thinking, yes. That's a good question.
Is there something that you saw in someone else's space and thought?
There is one thing that is like, that I really need, and I ended up having it. It was your formula, that week's formula. Because I'm exactly the same as you. With like, I look at a day and go, yeah, no, I've got plenty of time. But I was looking at it yesterday. I was looking through all the projects because I'm doing a big shift. I'm doing a big sprint. of changes for business in Notion, and being able to see, okay, that's 9 weeks away. Oh shit, I need to move quicker. Like 9 weeks seems a lot different than December the 31st or whatever it was. And so having that shift from seeing the weeks and days, it was like, oh, that's not a lot of time, considering I don't work Saturdays and Sundays often until I get started in Notion. But like, wow, that's not long.
On the live stream on Sundays.
Oh yeah, the live stream on Sundays, but that's not work, let's be honest.
Well, it is still talking about Notion. And
look, if my wife listens to this, he is lying. I am not working. Just ignore him. He is stupid.
I guess, how do you define work? I mean, if
I enjoy everything I do, but I do have to step away from. I would be, if it was just me on my own, I would be in this studio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and probably sleep in the dance studio. But I have family. I have to. Yeah,
that's called my bedroom. I'm in my bedroom right now. Sleep over there. I wake up, I sit down at the computer, and I'm on YouTube or on Notion or doing something. Yeah.
Basically, he has no life.
I play football. And for those of you in America, that's proper football.
Oh, shots. You do realise the vast majority of our audience is
American. Yeah, I know. Like, no, it's American football or Gaelic football or whatever other insert thing football.
Okay.
Soccer. Oh, I hate the word. Ugh, it's disgusting.
I don't give a crap.
Oh, I hate the word soccer. I can't even say it. The same accent as the soccer. Ugh. No,
Soccer.
Football. You kick the ball with your foot into the goal. Yes, football. But yeah, I play football. I have a life, sort of.
Okay, if you insist. Anyway, so
you derailed the conversation
slightly. So people know what they're getting into when they're watching this.
Not if it's their first podcast, their first experience of the NNPPs. The Notion Nerd Professional Podcasters. The NNPPs.
Entertainment.
Yes. We are entertainment gurus.
No, we're not gurus. We are far from a guru.
Yeah, I would agree.
British idiots who don't shut up about Notion.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. So bringing. What
about you? Is there anything that you wish you had? Because I know you've done a big shift on your system as well. Was there anything
With everything that I've seen, so for those of you that don't know, if there is a video on YouTube that has Notion in the title, I watch it, irrespective of how many views or subs the person has. And irrespective of how poor the audio quality may be and screen recording may be, I still watch it. Sorry? Shots fired. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was at the same point. My audio was pants. My screen recording was pants at some points. And it's improving slowly. But
he just wanted to slip into the conversation that he's got a brand new camera. That's what it was. That's it.
Actually, I didn't even think of that because that has literally nothing to do with screen recording. But it is nice that I have a new camera, which I got from YouTube AdSense, which I will do a video on. You may have even seen the video before this podcast goes live because we are that planned. Well, it depends when I do the video. But yeah, so with all of the stuff that I have seen, there is nothing that I've seen in Notion that I've gone, oh, I need to add that to my space, or oh, I really like that idea. They are all things that have gone, that's cool, but I don't think I'd use it.
I think the same.
A lot of the things I've seen are things I've expanded on and I've used for other people. They're like tools in my toolbox. It's cool. I like that. I like to know that thing. Similarly with most of the formulas. Most of the formulas I know, I'm like, that's cool, but I don't need it. So I'll just put it in my examples database that everyone can browse through. But yeah, so I don't have anything that I've gone, oh, I like that. I want that in my space. But there are there are quite a few things that I've seen that have triggered other ideas. Not necessarily from Notion. So I'm gonna go kind of back. I think we spoke about this last week. I'm not sure, but my evolution of my space. I can't remember if it was a podcast or if it was a stream. But so I had recently experimented ClickUp, and I'm going to be doing a member stream actually going through. Yeah, no, bear with me. Member stream going through like what I did with ClickUp.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, but there was a couple of things in ClickUp that I saw, and I wanted to have that in Notion. So I rebuilt a feature that's in ClickUp inside of Notion. Now that's not necessarily fear of missing out, but I didn't know what I didn't know. So yeah, to an extent, but I didn't know that was something that I wanted until I saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I wanted all of my tasks to move automatically with my project until I saw the ability until I saw the ability to do that in ClickUp.
But with that, you've really got to remember that the only reason Danny can implement that is because his processes are so refined. Especially for like every single one of the things you do, you have an incredibly refined process, which means you can do really advanced things like that. For the vast majority of clients that I come across, it's an absolute pointless thing to have.
Oh yeah.
And is just
way more of a headache than you would need.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, I have a decent workflow set up, but I am not even ready to implement something like what Danny's got with the moving tasks. Because for me, in particularly, I have to be very flexible with my time. I can have, doctor's appointments, kids' appointments at any time. So I could never structure it like that. However, I can use some of Danny's formulas, which are very beautiful and very nice. And it's about taking what works for you and not just having something in there for the sake of having something in there. Unless you're talking about Notion automations, and in which case I am just having a huge nerd out about that and being able to use Zapier with Notion right now. But we won't even talk about that. That's a whole nother episode because, oh my gosh, I'm loving it.
So I'm interested then. Okay. With the formula that I've currently got in my space that is getting larger by the minute, is that is that something that you would want in your space, but you just don't think you can have yet? Or is that just like something, I'm not gonna do that?
I can see the value of having it, like 100%. But I feel I would have to be more flexible than you. Like the way I work has to be more flexible because I don't have, I do have a lot more responsibilities on the side. Like you just have to come down for dinner every day and do certain things and football and things like that. But I've like got to jump out on my studio at a moment's notice to make sure that my kids aren't destroying each other for a minute or my poor wife has a shower. There's a lot more flexibility needed in my system than there is in yours. And
I'm gonna challenge you on that a little bit then.
Ooh,
so when you say
I love it.
When you say flexibility,
yes,
what do you mean by that? So with my tasks currently, I have essentially a theme of the day, which is those tasks will get dumped to that day automatically. I don't need to put them there. Then if I don't do them, they're still going to appear for the next day. So what sort of flexibility would you need added onto that? Because you already have a theme of the day.
I do have a theme of the day. I think I would have to do it slightly differently to you. If I was to do, now my brain's going, oh, actually, I know I could do that. Because in particularly, whenever I have client tasks, they go on a Tuesday and a Thursday more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually quite interesting. Now you make me want to use it already. Damn it.
No, I'm not saying use it. I'm just sort of...
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd have to completely change it because yours is task-based, whereas mine, because of course I have retainer clients. And so the task names are always different. They're never the same. So I would have to attach it to my area. So if it was tagged in an area, it would have to go on Tuesday or Thursday. If it was tagged with client or project, it would be tagged on a Tuesday. Stop it.
So I don't use the name of my tasks. I use the dashboard. I use the dashboard in the form.
Yeah, but you set the dates based on the tag. Or you did before when I was looking through your formula, which I sneakily screenshotted because you wouldn't share it with me because you're
Yeah. So the first argument criteria for it is what dashboard is it in? Now, because I have multiple tasks on a project, which is in the dashboard, that's where I use the name to separate it. But if you just have a task that's related to a dashboard, you can just say, okay, assign it to a Tuesday or assign it to Thursday.
Can you do that in a formula where it would be so of course you have the end date.
Yeah, because you can just use the dashboard, whatever the dashboard you tag it with, and then you can just set whatever date it is.
Because you can say the day is like Tuesday or a Thursday with like a number, because it's 0. Is it 0 for Sunday, Monday 1, Tuesday 2, Wednesday 3?
And there's a couple of ways you can do it. The way I've done it is I found the date beginning of the project due date, because I work by projects. Yeah, so I found the week beginning of that, and then I've just added the amount of dates. And you could go 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, and then add the task wherever you need to be. That's just a case of manipulating the date. But the actual criteria of finding where you want to put the task is...
Yes, but you've got for example, your YouTube process. Now we're going really nerdy. So if anyone's feeling FOMO right now, just remember, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have this. It's just... we're really weird.
No. Maybe a little bit.
Yes. Enjoy your weirdness.
Embrace the uniqueness.
It's still fine on the mic. It's fine.
Yep, it's still blue. You're still good. People can still hear you, unfortunately.
You invited me to your streams to start with. This is your own doing.
That is true. Actually, yeah. So I guess I'm one of the reasons, obviously. But I guess you could say that my invitation was the catalyst of the Notion Nerds.
Pretty much.
That's cool to think about. Anyway, go back to the other derail. We've just derailed our derail.
So you have to assign your tasks, they are always each name is the same. I'm thinking about your YouTube one specifically, because that's the only one I've properly seen. You have your workflow, your SOP set as a task. And so you set the days on the Monday, the Wednesday, and the Friday, if I remember rightly. It's probably changed now. But so for me, that wouldn't work, because I do any client task, which will have multiple types of names, on a Tuesday, and any retainer task on Thursday. So I would actually have to, in terms of, this is just me figuring out how to make the formula now.
Yeah.
And so what I would need to do is just tag it to the area. So if I have a task tagged to this area and this project, then
if you think the formula through, it looks at the area and then goes, oh, okay, assign it the week beginning.
Yeah.
Now I then have other tasks, and then I go, oh, okay, add this for this, add this for this, add this for that. If you don't want to just have loads of tasks and it's just the one thing, it's going to assign the week beginning. And then if you don't want it to assign the week beginning, just assign that to Monday, Tuesday, wherever. So
it's literally basically what I had with my weekly agenda. Except the dashboard first before the weekly agenda.
And it's done automatically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad we sorted that out. So
that's quite exciting. So anyway, going back to FOMO.
You said, I won't use that. I won't use that. And now you're sitting there going, shit, I may have to build it.
Yeah.
Actually, I just clocked it. Did you actually screenshot the formula?
Oh, yes. I just wanted to look at it. I like dissecting your formulas. They're fascinating.
Oh dear. Well, for those of you that are listening in, I am in the midst of planning a formula course, going through my entire process of why I need a formula, why I don't need a formula, how I go about building the formula, and then all the formula fundamentals that I can think of to put in a course.
And by the time this episode will be out, it'll be live at dannyhatcher.com/formula course.
That gives me what, 3 weeks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 3 weeks, batch. Yeah, do it. It will be available on the date.
I don't even finish the blog post until Sunday.
Well, then you're going to have to change dates, Mr. Flexible.
I'm not flexible, that's the thing. Well, I am actually. But yeah, it's just a case of prioritizing stuff. 3 weeks.
Yeah, you got 3 weeks to make that course. You heard it here first. He's got 3 weeks from the date of recording, so it's the 28th of...
3 weeks to make a course about formulas. Do you realize how much shit?
3 weeks. 3 weeks to launch the course on formulas. You do realize you're not supposed to. You do realize you're not supposed to finish the entire course before you sell it, don't you?
Oh yes, I know that. I was going to say that's impossible. It's going to take like a month to get all the content in because the amount of stuff you could do with formulas.
Well, it's going to be ready and available for pre-order and pre-sale.
Anyone listening, ignore Jonathan. I have a life.
We've already established you don't.
I definitely won't if I've got 3 weeks to do a fucking course.
No, you've just got 3 weeks to launch the course. That's all you've got.
Oh yeah, beta launch it. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean. You've got 3 weeks to beta launch.
I thought you meant like a full launch. It's like...
Okay, fine. I'll be kind. Beta launch. Why are you calling it
thank
beta?
you.
It's beta.
Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that.
So in 3 weeks' time, you're going to be able to look at it at DannyHatcher.com/formulas.
Now my heart palpitations have like decreased.
And I'm going to put it in the show notes so that it definitely goes in.
Nah,
So,
VA, cut it.
She won't. She likes making me squirm. It's nice to make you squirm for a change.
I can see it already now. She's going to put it in the Notion comments. Ha ha.
Yes, she is. And then she's probably going to come and yell at me because I haven't launched my course. But that's beside the point.
Accountability. Everyone, like, we need like a warning sign. Accountability.
No, I would have launched my actual course pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Is that the same as your YouTube channel launch?
No, I've openly said my YouTube channel is resting right now.
R.I.P. Busy
resting, not dead.
Might as well be dead.
Hey, I'm still getting views and subscribers, so I'm not complaining.
Anyone that has put a video up will get views.
True.
Like, I think, what was it? It must be, how old am I? I'm 24 now. So it must be 8 years ago. A person from my trampoline club put a video up of them throwing a basketball in a basketball hoop from like a front somersault on a trampoline. The video is still getting views. It has no SEO. It's literally the worst video quality you can imagine. It's like a really old phone. You can hardly see things, but it still gets views. And it's 8 years old. Any video gets views on YouTube. I'm not saying your videos are like really bad quality or anything like that. No,
I remember a certain someone that went, "Oh, your animations are really good." I was
going to say your animations are actually pretty good. I definitely can't do that.
Yeah,
but I have no intention of doing that either. I guess that comes back to FOMO. Bringing the segue back, like. I know. I'm amazing, aren't I? He's clapping whilst drinking.
Silent clap. That was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to clip the audio, but that's a beautiful.
Beautiful segue. Anyway, let's actually carry on with the segue and bring it back to where we were going. So I watch a lot of obviously YouTube creators, and being a YouTube creator, yeah, I know, shock horror. Only like 70 hours of YouTube content consumed a week. So.
Can we just, sorry, Rebecca, can we just cut in here where he went and said, "I have a life"? Please just cut that in. And just put that in there straight after that. Thank you very much.
I have a life, 70 hours watching YouTube. But it's on ×2 speed, and most of the time I do like push the arrow key to skip all the
That's shade.
Yeah, but like half the 10-minute videos are actually like a 30-second clip of something useful. The rest of it's just them talking. Some of my videos are the same. Like, you really don't need all of my videos. You could just like skip to whatever bit you need, which I see in the audience retention. Those of you that do that, I do see it. The audience retention goes down, and you suddenly just boop. Oh, they care about that 10-second clip, and then they just like disappear again. But I mean, I do it as a viewer. As a YouTube creator, you need to look at it differently. Anyway, you made me derail.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. That was just me. And obviously, like watching all of these YouTube creators, they have cameras, they have computers, they have microphones, they have lights, they have all the fancy stuff. I'm going to use Thomas Frank because he's a creator that I watch a lot and I speak to a fair amount. And he has like...
He did just name drop there just because he could. He name dropped because he could there.
Just a tad.
And I speak to Thomas Frank. Look at me. I'm relevant.
Thomas, if you're listening, never talk to Jonathan. He's an idiot. Actually, yeah, just never. But he has cinema grade cameras, and he has so many cameras, so many microphones that are like way out of my even potential sphere of getting. Am I missing out by not having that camera quality? Am I not getting all of the, I don't know, potential views, vanity metrics because I don't have the cameras, because I don't have the lights or the lighting, or I don't have the audio or any of that stuff? And looking at Nick Nimmin and his streams, he has 3, maybe 4 different camera setups while streaming, so he can go between different cameras on the stream. He has a stream deck with all the buttons and all the tech stuff with all the sound effects. And listening to and watching all of these other creators, there is a big gap, like a massive gap between their technology and my technology. Up until 2 days ago, I was using a 720p webcam for my face, for me.
Yeah, for my face.
For my face. Yeah, in the videos. And it was... let's just say it was subpar when comparing it to many of the other creators, not even like massive creators, even other creators my size. There are some creators who are like, I can't remember his last name. Is it David Mallon? I can't remember. I'm really sorry if I've just completely forgotten and butchered your name. I think he's from Australia. It may be New Zealand. I think it's Australia. The accents are so similar, I can't tell the difference. I can't personally tell the difference between the two. I know the people from those countries are now going to like rinse me in whatever comments, reviews. They're probably like, 1 star it. He doesn't know my accent. But yeah, and his camera setup is way superior to mine. He has lights. He has a camera. I now have a camera. But I'm looking at that stuff and I'm like, subscribers mean very, very little when it comes to actual quality of technology. So I'm trying to argue against myself right now. This is what goes on in my head as a creator. I look at people like Sarah Dici, Ali Abdul, Roberto Blake, Nick Nimmin, Thomas Frank. I could name drop so many people. But all of their stuff, I'm like, their phone is better than my video. Like their Instagram stories are better than my videos on YouTube. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And then I can go on the other end and go, well, this creator or that creator have a way better quality as well. But they have like 100 subscribers. So I'm trying to like fight my way out of just spending loads of money on cameras and equipment because I don't need it. But then it's like...
You do need a computer though. Like you really, really do.
Yeah, but my laptop hasn't exploded yet.
Yeah, but your laptop... Goodness sake, buy a computer. You need...
My laptop has worked perfectly fine with no hiccups so far, other than needing an external hard drive.
Good luck editing a video with the new camera on that thing.
It's done pretty well with a 5-minute video. I mean, the fans were going, but...
You know you could fry your computer doing that and lose all of the information.
Yeah, but I don't have any information on my computer. It's on my hard drive. Or on Notion.
Okay.
What would I lose? I'm curious. I am curious now, just in case it does explode. What would I lose? Because I'm using external hard drives and Notion to store my stuff.
Notion, not very much, but it depends on how much you fry it. From someone who recently has had an experience of it's not what you would lose. It would be the downtime.
Yeah, obviously.
That would be the big thing.
Losing a laptop that I live on pretty much every day. I mean, my laptop is basically serving as a PC right now anyway. But yeah, I mean, technology FOMO, I guess, it's certainly a thing that I have when I don't have all the high-tech specky stuff. There is obviously a baseline, and Jonathan is looking like a dork, looking at his microphone that's like 3, maybe 4 times the amount mine is. That's why his audio is better than mine. Before people comment and say, "Oh, Jonathan sounds better than you."
The really funny thing that just happened there is you had an internet glitch as you said that. So when you were saying that your audio is better than mine, you went really robotic, and I love it. I want that kept in.
That is the downside of being in your Zoom room. But then you're doing all the recording, so I'll take the upside.
I'm doing all the work, you mean? Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're doing all the work?
Yes. I'm doing all the pre-work. I mean, you are doing the time stamping.
I was going to say, I have to watch it through just like your VA.
Yes.
So what do you got to do? I got to do the SEO for YouTube. I got to do the timestamps for YouTube.
I pay her.
You pay her. Okay, so your work is like losing money, basically.
I don't see it as losing money, believe me.
Well, you know what I mean. It goes out of your account. Right. Okay, so I have another question for you that's related to Notion.
Oh, wow. We're actually going to talk about Notion now. Okay, now. Okay.
Yep. So, fear of missing out. Aesthetics.
Oh, I don't care. No, I do care, but I don't care. Like, I'm not a designer. I couldn't do it.
When you see spaces that look really nice, is there anything in your body that goes, that would be nice to have in my space?
Yes, but very quickly I go, yeah, but I'll just do my head in.
Have you tested it?
No.
How do you know that then? Because
I know I get really impatient with my system right now. And if I just start adding images and pretty stuff in there, it's just going to be like, it takes a minute second longer.
So is it the friction point in your system that it's taking too long to scroll down to things?
Yeah, that would be normally. I mean, it's like we had Teresa on last week's episode.
Live stream.
And I really liked the GIFs. They did bring a bit of joy, but like, I do look at things on my phone. So that would kill, like, productivity on that would be awful. I mean, it's kind of struggling at the moment because I'm like doing so many things, but I think it comes down to it that I could add it, but it's just the effort to add it, which is not very much effort, and like the benefit outweighs.
Slash image click. Yes, I know, but click,
it's like enter. I use slash image click 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 and all that stuff, or I could just get on with the task. I feel I would end up getting too distracted by all having the pretty things. The reason why I switched to Notion was to stop me from spending hours changing a heading to be a font and a format that I like. And I said I'd just do it in Notion with inline maths.
Which has the same issue. You're sitting there pushing in letters. It's like, is this a font? Is this a font? Oh, that's a cool font. No, I don't like that. Is this a font? Is this a font? And if that's not you, it's definitely me because I don't know.
You just literally
typing in random letters. Oh, SJK is a font. BF is a font. Nice.
You could just look on the website and get the information.
Yeah, I know. It's more fun pushing letters and seeing what comes up.
Oh,
when I get bored, that is one of the things that happens. That's why I currently know 14 different fonts in inline maths.
14? There's actually 14. Goodness me.
Yep, some of them look absolutely atrocious. So.
Okay, so there's 14 fonts. How many of them are actually usable?
5. Well, 5 that I would use, but there are like 7 or 8 that are what I would class journaling fonts. They're sort of like the font you'd put maybe as a title or maybe as like the first word of whatever the script is.
Okay.
Because they're more artsy fonts rather than actual writing fonts.
Do you get FOMO for the visual style then? I don't think you do you? You couldn't give a rat's ass.
No, why do you think I don't have any borders in my space?
Tell a lie, you did have a stupid orange border from the stupid thing, but then you removed them because they just got in the way.
Oh, I said border, didn't I? I meant to say cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Covers just, yeah.
I have covers for the sake of my clients.
If they want to add a cover, they can do that once they're finished.
I just have it as a template. I have the cover set up as so like for meeting notes. For me, I have a cover for each type of meeting note. I have a cover for each type of project. I didn't make the covers.
Do we get different types of clients? Because most of my clients know Notion to some extent. Like most of the questions that I get.
Most of my clients don't know Notion at all. Well,
we get different clients then, because most of my clients know, like they know Notion, and they're asking me about a formula, or they're asking me about how to relate databases or roll up
you've got more of the advanced clients. You can pass any of them to me if you like. Like most of my Notion users are beginners, which I enjoy.
Please give me some sanity.
No, I enjoy what I do. It is fun to help people move it. Most of the people who work with me are wanting to improve their business, like simplify their business. The only time you ever hear me talking about formulas is when I'm with you, or when I'm with someone who actually knows. Well, that's basically you or any of the other Notion. Well, some of the Notion ambassadors.
Oh, that was close.
That wasn't close.
You were gonna be nasty.
No, Notion ambassadors are very open on things that they don't know and do know. So I'm not being horrible to them. Like we say, if we bring it straight back to FOMO, some people don't have that fear of missing out on formulas, and you don't need formulas to have a good Notion account. You can use it with most of the simpler features like relations and rollups. You don't need formulas. So going back to FOMO, they're not experiencing FOMO because they don't feel that they need to have formulas. And also, formulas you can just copy and paste from other people.
Or print screen.
Yeah. I was
going to say, politically, you played that pretty well. I've got to give you props for that.
It's not political. It's the truth. I honestly think as long as you have a basic knowledge of Notion, then that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to the fear of missing out, with technology, your side, obviously, you have loads of tech. When it comes to business, fear of missing out in business, I know I rinsed you for the YouTube stuff, but do you have a fear of missing out when it comes to the marketing on social media?
That's a good question. I suppose in a way, yes. It depends on kind of where I am in my frame of mind. I did a tweet recently about this. Like I'm not aiming for a finite game. There's no end game for me. The game is to keep playing in Notion and keep running my business. So I have time to launch a hugely successful YouTube channel. I've spent enough time with you, and I have enough knowledge, and I've taken enough courses to know how to do a lot of what you do. And I have a wonderful VA who can do the stuff that I can't do. If I wanted to go ham on YouTube, I could. If I wanted to go ham on social media marketing, yes, I could. But for me, I'm happy with my journey, I suppose. And that's a rubbish answer. It's not very salty or at all. But there are days, yes, where I'm like, I just want to release another YouTube video, but Danny's being a dick again, talking about my YouTube shit. No, I'm not really. Not really, because I know that I'm on my journey, going in my direction. And although you and I are very similar, we are on different journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And neither one of us want a way out. Well, I definitely don't.
I agree.
I'm in here. I'm not looking to earn like 7, 8, 9, 10 figures and then sell. Like that number is just a number. I don't know any businesses that each
fun
10 figures.
Life.
Yeah, that's basically what I want. That's what I want with my business, is just to be able to have fun and earn enough money to pay my bills. And as I'm doing that,
and maybe get a holiday in there or two.
Oh yeah, definitely a holiday. Go up to Canada. There are things that I would like to do.
Why would you go to Canada?
Have you ever been to Canada?
No.
It's very nice there.
The only thing that comes to mind with Canada, apart from the people that I know that live there,
please be careful. I do have a widely Canadian audience.
Is snow. That's all I can think of when I think of Canada.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of snow.
Like I know people in Canada, and obviously they come to mind straight away. But then it's just snow, and I don't really know what else there is.
It's beautiful. Like Canada is absolutely, like if you go, so Salt Spring Island is where I've gone once, and it was amazing because it was so picturesque. It was just so quiet. So that's where I'd want to go again.
Okay, but that involves going outside. Who goes outside?
Right now, nobody.
We're vampires.
I want to build a notion system.
Yup, exactly. Oh, dear. So,
what about you? Do you have FOMO in business?
This is something that I've tried to ask myself a few times, and being new in the business, as in being new in the business of being in business, because I'm still technically a student, even though I'm not. I've come from sport, and sport is not really that business orientated.
So sport is very competitive too, so that's quite fascinating.
Yes. So for those that don't know, my undergraduate degree is in sports coaching, which was heavily focused on pedagogics and learning, psychology, and then anatomy, physiology, and the rest of it, and all the ologies. My master's degree was in strength and conditioning, which was heavily focused on performance, specifically physical performance, but it was performance athletes. So my 5 years of higher ed was all about sport and performance in sport. So I like that. So when I moved into business, there was so much I didn't know about business. Like marketing was just, what is this thing? Sales, what is this thing? I have to charge people? How do I do that?
Still rubbish with sales.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
You've come a long way. You've come, and that is going to be another episode of the podcast. Or it might be a live stream, or it might be both. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be a bit both, because there is a lot to talk about when transitioning into business. The idea of just saying to someone, do you want to buy this for like £1? was like mind-blowing to me. I couldn't understand how someone would pay me to do something that I find so easy. I know that is now business, and I'm learning. I won't go into it. But when it comes to fear of missing out, I definitely feel that I have a lot to learn. So I'm trying to consume as much information about business, marketing, entrepreneurship, sales, and all of the things as I can. It's not necessarily a fear of missing out in business. I guess it's more of a fear of missing out because I've started so late. I guess it's not late, but I'm 24. And I'm starting to understand business, sales, entrepreneurship. I personally know people, and I know people online that are 18, 19, 20, and they have a business of however much, insert number. I'm not that fussed about the numbers. It's more about the process of them getting there. They have got there so early. And I guess this comes into FOMO of age. I mean, I look at some people at coding, like 6-year-olds doing code. I'm like, I understand HTML just, I understand JavaScript just, and they're doing so much stuff, and I'm thinking, am I getting too old for this? I know I'm only 24, and people are probably listening thinking, I'm 30 or I'm 40.
I am pretty much 30 now.
Yeah,
you forget I'm older than you.
Yeah.
What does that say about me?
Do you understand sort of where I'm coming from? It's less of
definitely.
It's less of a fear of business and less of a, have I started too late? Do I not know enough to move forwards?
That's interesting, because I feel that that's come with you and I in the past. Because, of course, you're younger than me, 1. You started later than me, 2. But in some respects, if you're looking at the traditional success, you are actually on the kind of public-facing view, far more successful than I am. You're far more known for Notion than I am in the vast majority of things. Whereas I'm more known in the kind of, I suppose, the solo business world. Even though, 1, I was a consultant. I was one of the first consultants in the UK. like official Notion consultants. I joined the little group of people.
Official.
Yeah, I know, but it's vanity metrics. Vanity metrics. I don't mind that. It's nice to be noticed by Notion, but yeah. But like in a lot of ways, I felt that I'd missed out because I didn't take all of the opportunities and let a lot of your own head get in the way. So in that way, I think that in a way is something that I feel I missed out on in the past. But now I'm just like, yeah, I'm on my own journey.
Air quotes can't be heard.
Yeah, I know. Well, hang on. There we go. Air quotes are heard there. So there we go. I'm sorry.
They probably just like averted their ears, like, ugh.
I'm sorry, headphone listeners, for that, but still, it was funny, and I had to take advantage of that joke.
because we're peepees.
We're having a really in-depth conversation, and then you ruined it.
I didn't ruin it. I just brought up the word NNPPs. Nana Papa. We're Nana Papas. Going back to, I think I was too old. Maybe I'm not old enough.
No comment. I'm saying nothing.
Actually, what, are you 5 years older than me?
I don't remember my own age. I have no luck. 29, I think.
Yeah, that's 5 years. Yeah, so you're 5 years older than me, but your mental age is probably about the same as mine.
Only when I'm with you.
I can't even disprove that because I don't, obviously, I don't see you without me because I'm there. Yeah. Actually, no, I guess in the live streams, on the webinar calls when you're really boring.
Well, I'm more professional, yes.
Okay, yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I know, but I still have a little bit of me in there. And actually, I recently received a little comment in the Notion.
I did see that.
It's nice.
I did see that.
I am someone who did musical theatre, so I am very animated. Naturally.
Go on, give us a couple of notes.
No.
That's beautiful.
You're welcome. If you can find it on YouTube, there is actually me singing Phantom of the Opera.
How am I even going to go about doing that? Guaranteed the thumbnail doesn't have you in it, and it's not going to be titled appropriately.
That's why I don't mind telling you.
There's going to be zero SEO. There's going to be no recognition unless I actually come across it and just watch every single video.
I have on purposely not given you enough information for you to find it.
So now you're going to give us enough information to find it so everyone can go and listen to you sing.
No. And it was from really far away. Actually, using this camera, ironically.
Limiting belief. Maybe you are amazing at singing. And you're just...
Well, I did get... It's not a limiting belief. I know I'm good at singing.
So why are you hiding it?
Because it was a really poorly recorded video.
And... You've seen my videos. You've seen this podcast.
Yeah, good point. Okay, I can find it and maybe I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, well, if you share it with me, I will put it in the description of the video on YouTube. So anyone that's listening to the podcast can then go to YouTube on obviously this podcast episode and just go to the description and find it. And then I imagine we can put it in the show notes of other platforms, but I don't know how they work because I'm a YouTube.
I'm adding it into our resources section on Notion because that's where we really should have it.
I've seen the piano every time we get on a call, but I've never heard you play it. Yeah, just an observation.
It's just I just don't. I don't play it in front of other people. It's my kind of.
It's your thing.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't really have anything that's just mine now. Really, it was Notion, but now Notion's.
Well, I was a music teacher before, and so literally I gave everything I had as such. And then in the end, like as I have moved on in my business, I've wanted to keep things that are just for me, I suppose.
I guess bringing this back, being from a sports background, and knowing what I know and knowing the potential careers I could go in, I also have an element of, is this the right choice? Because I have a master's degree in strength and conditioning. I could be a strength and conditioning coach for a high performance team. So it's I'm making a choice. I'm making a choice not to go down the sports route. And I don't know, obviously, I don't know if I'm going to be missing out on something, if I would enjoy it. I don't think I would, because it's a very monotonous job. It's a very fulfilling job, but a very monotonous one, because essentially you'll be doing the same thing. You'll be periodizing programs, doing very similar movements, just increasing the weight or increasing intensity or manipulating some of the metrics for a periodized program of months and weeks and years and stuff for performance. So it is... Jonathan's falling asleep. Yeah. So I don't know whether I would I don't know if I'm missing out on the sport. I know I still play football, but I did trampoline, football, handball, and some form of athletics for the longest time. And now I've gone from, I think it was close to 70 hours of training a week, training on match day, match play, match involvement a week, to, what's that, 5? 5, maybe 6. So I always have this question: have I made the right choice going into YouTube, entrepreneurship, business stuff? Because, I mean, what's that? 22 years of my life have been fully focused towards sport. and now I'm almost leaving it behind me. The only essence of sport I have left in here, like in what I do, I mean, I guess the medals and trophies and stuff that I've got, but that's just materialistic. It's just the playing football, like at training or at a weekend. So am I missing out something? I mean, maybe down the line I could combine them together somehow.
How?
I mean, essentially digital management, right?
Actually, you could.
So digital management is an easy one to put in there. The main restriction is most coaches, sports coaches, I'm going to put in there, sports coaches don't use digital platforms or don't use those things because they're out in the fields, they're out on the courts, and they don't need it. I would argue against that, but limiting belief. And then I guess the other way of doing it, the way I see it, the way I see sports clubs is sports clubs are businesses. And I thought that before I got into business, because a coach is asking for money to deliver a service, i.e. coach. Yes, it happens to be sport, but they're still coaching. They're still delivering a service. And they still need students, pupils, to come into their club to, firstly, fund the facility, and second, like, not necessarily pay them, because a lot of amateur clubs or volunteer clubs have coaches that don't get paid. But in performance sport, the coaches get paid. And if the coaches are going to get paid, then they need to market their club, their sport, their whatever qualification they have, to get the income. What?
This is derailing, but you're so paying attention to the fact that you're not saying like, you're saying again.
Yeah, I know.
The thing you wanted to avoid saying. Just sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to avoid saying like. I wanted to say it just before then, but yeah. So I was. Where was I going? Oh yeah,
I don't know. You went on one hell of a tangent.
Yeah, I know. With the sports. So bringing that back with so they are businesses. I just smacked my mic, and you probably heard that. It's because I'm using my hands to talk. Exactly, just like that. So bringing that back, how I can apply me into that world is marketing. Marketing is content creation. Content creation is where I'm going. Content creation with digital management and stuff. That is what I do. Like content creation processes. So helping coaches in that way, but that's like way in the future. Digital coaching isn't even really a thing. That's what I did my dissertation on. So fear of missing out. Am I missing out being in that environment? What am I missing being out in the environment? Maybe a stable job, like an S&C role. It's a stable job. Am I missing that? I think I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing now more than that, but I won't know. And I will never know if I pick this route. So it's making a choice and not knowing the result of making that choice that I guess is the worry. Did that make sense to you, or was I just sort of rambling?
Oh, no, it made sense. It was exactly the same process when I shifted rather violently from music to business coaching and stuff like that. It's very, very similar process. You don't ever know whether it would have been more successful just to teach more in more schools and just to do X, Y, and Z and do. You never do know in your business whether it'll be successful. You just have to trust in the process, which is the most annoying phrase in the world, but it's true. Like, if you a traditional job I see as like this end game. There will be an end, you'll retire and have money. Whereas as an entrepreneur or a business owner that owns their own business, I don't see it as there's no end game of being a business owner, because you just keep going unless you're planning to sell your business, in which case you have to think very differently. You've got to like have your OKRs, JKPs and LMNPs and all that nonsense. You could hear about that last episode, our opinions on that. But if you don't have a plan to get rid of your business, you just keep going, then the game keeps going and you keep playing, and whatever you do in the future is whatever you do. You just have to hold on to, as long as you're doing something you love and you can earn some money from it, enough to live as well, it's important, then just keep enjoying the journey. Yeah.
Okay. That was actually, like, from my perspective, it was nice to hear that other people have the same thought process when it comes to changing careers, which is what I've kind of done. I didn't really have a career, but I had geared up and prepared for a career, and then I've gone, you know what, let's do a massive U-turn. Go back to the beginning. But yeah,
I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, I was just looking at the time. I was like, that's an hour. Nice.
I didn't know. I don't have the recording. I can only just see it's recording, so that's pretty cool. So thank you very much for joining us for this episode of the Notion Nerd Podcast. If you like what you see, you can subscribe to us on YouTube or all the other bits.
Give us a review.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube and leave us a review. That's what I was saying. Thank you very much.
Way too long to say it.
Well, that was.
You need to make it automated.
I could make it automated. We could record a little section.
just put a robot in. Thank you for listening.
No, we can use Descript to do that.
True. Because you can type it out and then it can...
Yeah. You can also have that... If you ever had the voiceover guy on YouTube. Like, there's the... Coming soon to this... Yeah, him. He's a really popular guy for doing stuff like that. They've actually recorded his voice into Descript. It's pretty cool. I'm going to play with it today, probably. No, I'm not. I've got loads of other things to do.
Yeah, no, I got loads.
I was just like, I'm going to go play it today. Looked at Notion.
You realise we wrapped up the podcast and then carry on talking. This is what happens after the podcast. We just keep talking.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so ending take two.
Ending take two.
Thank you for joining us on... I don't know what the hell that was. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Notion Nerds Podcast. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel where you see live streams every Sunday. Also, you can leave a review on whatever podcasting platform you use, because it's absolutely everywhere. I think by now it should be absolutely everywhere. As of recording this, none of them have been published, but they will be published in like 2 days. Woo! But they should be everywhere on Spotify and the list of all the other channels. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording.